Hey mama, I bet you've seen a lot of hype on social media about self-care, whether it's manicures or brunches with friends or the bubble bath. And while those are all amazing, are you ready to engage in something that's a little deeper, a little more long-lasting, and something that actually helps you figure out what you need to feel better on the inside, not just the kind of quick things that make you feel better for a little bit? Welcome back to Married Moms Take Control. My name is Navart Wilborn. I am your host. I am a licensed professional counselor and a marriage coach for moms. And I am excited to dive in with you today about real deep self-care, not just the superficial kind. All right, ladies, first of all, I'm so sorry. I did not give you an episode yesterday. Last week. We went out of town on Wednesday, and the few days leading up to that were just so busy. I was still working, seeing clients, and then trying to get packed up. And I just didn't make time for it. So I am sorry about that. And I was worried that I wasn't going to get to make an episode for you this week, but I am able to fit it in. So I'm really glad that my schedule allowed me to do that. I'm excited about today's episode with you because it's funny. Anytime I scroll Facebook, I feel like, or Instagram, but mostly I'm a Facebooker, but I feel like so much of social media for moms has this messaging of self-care. So many other coaches talk about self-care, how to not feel guilty about engaging in self-care, don't feel bad, it's not selfish, all this. And while all of that is absolutely true, and I value all of that, one thing that I've noticed is missing is the depth. So much of the self-care strategies that are encouraged for moms are kind of surface. They are, superficial in the sense that they're not tackling a deeper issue. And what I have seen a lot as a therapist is moms who feel very, tired, overwhelmed, burned out. Their struggle is not that they need to go get a manicure or that they need to have lunch with friends. Those are great and they do feel better doing those things, but the struggle is deeper. The struggle is more personal. It can't be resolved by a manicure. And so I think it's important to do those things for ourselves. It's important to beautify ourselves and do things that relax us, get a massage, get a pedicure, get a haircut, color our hair, whatever, things that make us feel good about ourselves. But I think it's up to us to really figure out what is the real issue. When we, experience being really tired, overstimulated, burned out in our roles, whether it's a role as mom, a role as wife, a role as, employee, employer, there are deeper issues that we need to explore. And typically, the messaging there isn't a ton of messaging for that. Usually what you'll see is maybe more of a therapeutic message, maybe something more clinical, like make sure you're going to the doctor, make sure you're eating healthy, make sure you're, taking care of your body. And that's great. Also things we should all be doing. But when it comes to really diving into happiness, what that means for someone, what it means to feel fulfilled, what it means to feel satisfied with life, to feel good about our role in our relationships, whether it's our relationship with our significant other, our children, our friends, our family members, ourselves. Those things require deeper thought that social media doesn't hit on that very much, right? Like you'll see people post about everything, but it's not really under the messaging of self-care. And my perspective is that is true self-care. Real self-care is, what am I feeling? What do I need? What am I doing that doesn't really serve me, that doesn't make me feel good about myself, that doesn't make me feel good in my roles as wife or mom? And what do I want to do differently? Like if I was to wave the magic wand and wake up tomorrow and feel more satisfied with my life, what would that look like? What would I be doing differently? How would I be behaving differently? How would I treat those around me? How would I be treated by those around me? That is real self-care. Taking time to really understand, and that goes a lot along with identity work, right? And the more we experience life and all the things that come with it, the more we develop our identity, we learn what we like and what we don't like. And it's not until we are intentional with really doing things that serve the direction that we want our identity to grow in, that we can actually experience positive change, right? So again, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you need a break, take the break, go get your nails done, go for a walk, call up a friend, do whatever you need. But I think you owe it to yourself to ask yourself, is there more to it for me? Maybe it's not for everyone, but for majority of us, there's more to it. I am feeling tired. I'm feeling like I'm running around and I'm just doing the things that are required of the day and not really delving deeper into pursuing my own, whether it's hobbies, goals, maybe it's a career goal, maybe it's an academic goal, maybe it's a relationship goal, right? So if you are not working towards having, if your goal is, or the thing that really stresses you out the most every day is you feel disconnected from your husband, or you feel like your children are uh, behaviorally struggling, ungrateful, or maybe they're doing things that you don't like. Maybe you're having a hard time with being a strong parent. Maybe you and your husband don't spend enough time together. Maybe you yell at your kids a little too much. Maybe you have a really difficult relationship with your mom or your friends. Friendships are not in a good place, right? Those questions, that's what that I really want you to ask yourself. What would those things look like if you had a more intentional role in pursuing change, in pursuing growth? That is real self-care. And what I really want for you is to find it within yourself to give that gift to yourself, right? So when you carve out time to go for a walk or go get your nails done, that's not always easy, right? Like you have responsibilities and you have children and things like that. That's hard. And mostly it's hard because you have to leave the house. You have to go carve out a chunk of time. There's a cost associated with it. Maybe you need to coordinate schedules with a friend. Like that's a lot of work. And sometimes that feels like, well, it's just like, ugh, it's too much, right? What I'm encouraging you to do is a lot easier to fit into your day. I'm asking you to grab a pen or pick up your phone, find a note somewhere, a piece of paper, a note in your phone, and ask yourself some really basic questions. One that is a really easy one to start with is, am I happy? Am I happy with my relationship? Am I happy with my relationship with my children? Do I feel good about my job? Do I enjoy how I spend my day? Am I feeling fulfilled in my roles, in the way that I spend my time? Do I like the way people treat me? Do I wish I spent time doing other things in my day, right? These are just sample questions. And I'm actually going to dive into this a little bit more in the Facebook group and give you some of these prompts in the Facebook group. So if you're not in the group, please join it. It is called Married Moms Take Control. Super easy to find. Um, but I really think that this part of our identity development is the deepest kind of self-care, because once you answer some of these initial questions, really that sets the groundwork, kind of lays the groundwork for what do you need to be doing differently. And then once you know what you need to be doing differently, then we just figure out how to do it. We put together some steps towards, okay, well, if I don't like the way that I am interacting with my kids, well, what do I need to change? Do I need to yell less? Do I need to take a parenting class? Do I need to ask ChatGPT to help me come up with a strategy for discipline for my 13-year-old, 14-year-old, whatever, 7-year-old who is talking back to me, or who doesn't have any respect for me, or who is, maybe I'm co-parenting with another a previous spouse, and I need to figure out how to have a better working parenting relationship with that person, and I want to work on that. I want to find strategies to communicate better. I want to be less bitter. I want to be more positive. I want to pursue a goal of starting a hobby or making more friends, whatever it is. Those are the questions that I want you to ask yourself. Those are the things I want you to work on, because that is what is actually going to help you take steps every day that's much more fulfilling than a pedicure or a massage, because the impact and the I guess the result is going to be more long lasting. You will feel a kind of, because you could go get a great massage and then come home or go to work and be faced with an amount of stress that makes you feel like it was all just for nothing. Like it doesn't even count. It's all gone. All your stress is back. But what I'm talking about is finding the kind of inner, you know, awareness and peace that you will pursue forever. I mean, we never stop growing, we never stop learning about ourselves. But when we set ourselves down the right path, then we're just walking along the path, and we're, doing maintenance as we drive down this path. We're making sure, it's like a car. If you're setting out to, if you're doing a road trip, well, you probably need to know the direction that you need to go. Maybe you look it up on your GPS and you follow that GPS, and maybe along the way certain roads have construction or an accident and your GPS is routing you around it, but ultimately you're going down the same path. You are trying to get to some place, and that requires direction. And same for us. We spend so much of our time, specifically as moms, just doing all the things that are needed to help our children flourish, to maintain our marriages, to go to our jobs. But a lot of the time, we feel like we're just running around doing the same thing, kind of just doing for everyone else, and just checking the same list and the same items off the same list, and it's repetitive, and there isn't a ton of personal fulfillment. And what we owe ourselves is making sure that while we're doing the things that are required of us, and things that we might enjoy or might not enjoy, that we're also adding in things that do fulfill us, that do make us feel good about ourselves. That even if it's a 5 minute, you know, journaling about your day, or reading a book, or talking to a friend, like those are all great, but making sure that within that, it's something that makes you feel better. Reading a book that makes you maybe grow in some way, journaling about how you want to be more patient tomorrow, having conversations with your children or with your husband that are more meaningful about the relationship, making decisions together to communicate differently, setting new goals for your family. Maybe you need to go and have a different, create a different system about how to track schedules and how to track appointments, because that might be a real big stressor for your family and you don't operate well. Maybe that brings a lot of anxiety. So you have to figure out what it is that you personally need, what your family needs, but mostly what you personally need, because you are the glue. You hold the family. And that's why I named the podcast and the Facebook group Married Moms Take Control, because the way that we intentionally live our lives, it helps us manage our families differently, take control of our families, because we are the leaders. And for as much as we talk about men being the leaders of the family, and they are in so many ways, and they guide in so many ways, but the role that we play as mom, as wife, that is unmatched. We absolutely set the tone. We absolutely lead the direction that our children go, that our husbands go. But it takes collaboration. You can't decide today that you're going to tell your husband to do something he's going to do. It doesn't work like that. It's nurture a relationship, be intentional with how you lead the relationship with your husband, so that you are better partners, so that you have better communication, so that you have the ability to tag team things together and to work better as a team. That is how you lead. But until you figure out within yourself, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? What is it that you crave out of a relationship with your husband, or a relationship with your children? Or how do you need to feel about yourself? What do you need to do to take care of yourself so that you're a better mom and you're a better wife? That is the ultimate self-care. Okay. So I hope that something from that jumped out at you, and that you can kind of just decide that you want to be more intentional and more long term thinking, and not just, well, I feel stressed, I'm going to go get a pedicure. Go get the pedicure. But maybe while you're there, take some notes about how you want to make some bigger changes that will help you feel better on the inside. Okay. That's all I got for you today, ladies. I hope that that this is a week that really sets you down a path of deeper self-care, deeper empowerment within, That's what real empowerment is. It's not, I'm gonna, go over here and quit my job. Like, that's great sometimes, but real empowerment is lead yourself, look internally, figure out the direction that you need to go, and just pursue it, pursue the goals, whatever they are, pursue the goals. That'll really make you feel good on the inside. Reach out if you need help. See me in the Facebook group. I'm going to post some of these prompts to really help you dig a little deeper. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. All right. Bye, ladies.